We're going back to the beginning. Welcome back to Writer's Theory. I'm James Winterthorn, and I'm starting a new chapter on day 36 of my effort to write a novel in less than 90 days. In yesterday's video, I shared my outlining process for the day when I just didn't have any content or inspiration to write. This will happen from time to time where we just don't have it. It's hard to get in front of the keyboard and tell a story. And more days than not, if you're going to complete a project in a efficient manner, you need momentum. I would need to be in front of my keyboard regularly if I'm going to complete this project in a timely manner. But some days I just don't have it, and I have to be okay with that. So that was yesterday, and why I shared the outlining from yesterday's session instead of a writing session. We're back to writing today. So we're going to start, I believe this is chapter 6. And this is basically going to pick up where the first chapter left off. So I think this is, if I did this correctly, I ended a chapter, did a couple things, and then picked up again where that chapter left off. Nope, actually, I did that in 2 to 4. So I'm just rambling. Don't listen to anything I say. And we'll just get to the beginning of chapter 6. Again, keeping the chapter titles are more an effort of organization than they are description about what really happens. So here, if you recall from chapter 1, we ended that chapter with Mercer throwing the stick of dynamite and jumping into the river. And so now we're picking up where he's in the water, and I really wanted a visceral experience of him going down the river under the cave or through the canyon where there's not a lot of light, and having it be a very physical feeling and visceral experience. So I wanted to work on that. I don't know if a couple paragraphs is enough to really draw it out, but that's my intent here, is to have this feel dangerous, have it feel uncertain, and have him get beat up a little bit, for having jumped in the river and making that decision earlier on. And so all of this is just description. He obviously is not going to be talking while he's working through being dragged down the river. And now he's found his way out here. And he hears some people coming along here, and he's like, "Hey, I'm beat up, so if you're here to kill me, get on to it." So my effort in that first part was I wanted to pick up where I left off at the end of chapter 1. With the struggle I had to start this chapter, that part made sense to me because I already had some content to carry forward from. And so that's what I did. And I wanted it to just be a moment of him being just knocked around in the river as he is escaping John Triton and his men. I mentioned earlier that I struggled with the point of view I was trying to tell. I was trying to have the point of view be very removed and not really have the experiences of Mercer be apparent, his feelings, things like that. I really just wanted to be removed and almost have a camera shot of these characters, and really struggled with that. and telling the story that I wanted to tell. So here, this is very much from his perspective. I mean, it's still third person, but I got into his head a little more. We're seeing it through his eyes a little more. Not going too deep with it, but I did need to change it enough where I could just tell the story I wanted to tell, and I needed to be, I needed to see this from my character's eyes more than I have so far, and that's evident here for sure. So let's get back to the rest of day 36 and see who is approaching him as he's drying out on the edge of the river. And so it's funny that I kind of forget sometimes like what I wrote. So the person or the thing that he heard was his horse. And so he's talking to her here. I like him bouncing like dialogue off of the horse. So I like that he talks to her. And then she'll respond sometimes, with some kind of audible noise or the noises that horses make. He's talking about how he's just getting beat up left and right now. And he's just really just taking in a moment to like realize like the life that he's been living so far. I didn't need to carry that on much longer, so I have his friends come back from the other side with an update about what they've done. Here they're having a discussion about the horses, and I really just wanted to add a little more I guess detail about what they had done. So the guys had taken Triton's horses from him and his men, and were intent on keeping them. And Mercer talks them out of that here. And the Triton character, I think I have big plans for, but I don't know how I'm going to pull them off well. So I really got to think about that. And I couldn't have them be without horses. So they're just going to slow down this group that is shooting and chasing at them so far. But that's where I ended it here was Fireheart, Calm Watch. They were trying to take the horses, or at least interested in keeping them. But that just didn't work for my story here. So they're just going to leave them behind. But I felt good getting the first day down, and starting chapter 6 after a day of not writing, trying to get back into a groove and keep the story moving forward. So I feel good about that. I think the descriptions, I think those first few paragraphs of him bouncing around the river, I do like that. I don't know that it needs to be any longer. Let me know what you think if that chapter, if that part of the chapter is emotional, if it's visceral enough, or if I should add more to it. So with that, let's do the word of the day for day 36. The war had to end before they realized Ghost was just a man. I like this line because first, like the imagery of it, like he's referencing his own nickname here, but a ghost is something ethereal, and obviously you can't kill a ghost. But because he's endured so much since embarking on this journey, that he's really feeling mortal. And so I like that this line says that he says it about himself, but also just says it about the story and just what he's gone through as well. So that's the line of the day. Tomorrow we'll move on to day 37, and we will see how the rest of the story goes. If you're enjoying this experience, please like and subscribe so I can talk to you tomorrow. And obviously, you can't kill a ghost.